Welcome back to the Listen Up podcast, where we analyze a new album each week. I'm Nick, and this week we've got me, Jamie.
It's Decoration Day.
And Jordan.
Ka-chow!
This week we're going to be taking a look at Decoration Day by the Drive-By Truckers, released in 2003, and it was picked by Jamie. So Jamie, tell us a little bit about why you picked this album.
Well, Nick, I'm glad you asked.
Oh, God, are you okay?
No, yeah, so, dude, I've had this weird cough. I don't know.
Yeah, it's probably just like, have you heard about that kind of like worldwide thing that's going around?
Bro, it's not that. It's like a seasonal thing. I don't know what's going on with
I'm on my third booster right now, so I'm pretty much like, yeah, I'm ahead of the game.
Okay. I like that Jordan's muted us in Discord, but I'm gonna have to edit out everything he's saying right now.
No, I literally muted to tell her. Like, as I was telling her, I was like, even the stuff we're saying right now, Jamie's gonna have to edit out later. I was telling her that like
I will hear
everything from this point on like is gonna be in, so just don't say anything.
At least I will hear it. I mean, she can say whatever. It's just I will hear it and cut it out.
Yes, I was just telling her that you will hear it in case.
Yeah. So we're gonna have to post a blooper reel with everything incriminating and cancelable that happens.
No.
That happens in the background.
Whatever
I've actually been compiling all of the audio, and it's all in a folder.
Oh God, Jamie deletes it of himself.
It's actually it would just be quite a lot of eating noises. That's mostly
probably yeah. Sorry,
slopping, eating spaghetti.
Bro, last week
I
don't know what you were eating last week, but last week it was something wet.
I can't remember.
That was a harsh one to listen to back.
It might have been it might have been the fish and the rice, I think.
It was something kind of wet, and that was a rough one, dude. Normally it's crunchy. Normally it's like goldfish, but last week it was wet. That's fine. Oh, real quick before I actually answer your question you asked me forever ago. Jordan's audio is a little bad this week. We didn't mess that up this week. We did know this, but we're doing it so that we can get in the episode this week.
Yeah.
This is for you, listener. We love you. So much.
normally when one of our audio has been bad, we have fucked up. But this week it's planned. Okay, we didn't mess anything up this week. So, but yeah, so I guess I had multiple reasons going into picking this album. One, I've wanted to pick it for like a year, just never knew when the right time was. Mm-hmm. Two, it's a very, very good album for me on both an emotional standpoint and an artistic standpoint. Mm-hmm. We'll get more into that. Yeah, and also I just kind of, I don't know. I wanted to choose something vaguely Jason Isbell again, but it's not quite time to get into his solo work, but I felt this was close enough. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of, after last week, it was kind of the kind of music I was listening to with His Gold Messenger, and then, even though the concert's not until May, I'm, just getting hype for seeing him live in May. So yeah, I just wanted to, I don't know, take a look at this. I knew that you probably weren't super familiar, and I wanted to see, I really want to get like super into Southern rock, but I feel like I just wanted to test the waters with Jordan first a little bit.
Yeah.
And this is kind of different than the Southern rock that I would be referencing.
I was about to say, what genre of music is this?
This, I would say it's either just rock. Some of it is pretty hard, but it's not, I wouldn't classify it as like hard rock from the early 2000s, but it's also not
I was gonna say what
fully Southern rock in the sense of like the Allman Brothers and
it's indie country.
Who's the Dixie Chicken band?
Oh, Paula Dean.
No. Dixie Chicks?
No, not the Dixie Chicks.
He said,
Dixie
who's
Chicken
the Chicken Dixies?
Is Little Feet.
Dixie
Little Feet.
Chicks?
Not that kind of Southern rock. Not like the Skinners and the Allman Brothers, but this is more of like you're fucking angry about being poor in the South rock. This is kind of, so this album comes at an interesting point for this band because this was their follow-up to their first real commercial success with Southern rock opera in 2001, I think. And so this is kind of Southern rock opera. That was where I'm pretty sure that it's credited to Jason's girlfriend at the time, now ex-wife, who made them. They were just like a bunch of friends who drink and basically play bar rock together really fucking loud. If you ever listen to like Pizza Deliverance or any of their earlier albums. And then she was like, okay, like practice like a fucking band that you want to be. And then they did, and they got
They actually
cleaner.
made good music.
Yeah, I mean, there's still some bangers on their early stuff.
That came out the completely wrong way. They made more polished music. Yes.
Yeah. It was less like whenever, me, Zach, and a couple of times you went over to us whenever we go hang out with Brian and just fuck around on guitars for like 3 hours, which is great fun, but that's not really going to commercially sell.
I only knew like 3 chords.
Exactly. So you were just playing the rhythm part. That's all you need to do. Bro, I wasn't playing anything. So I really want to do that again. I hate that like now I have time to do it again, and I live across the country. But but yeah, so they polished up their sound a little bit, which that's saying something because this is the polished sound. And there's moments on this album where it just feels like you're like drunk in a bar yelling.
True.
Which is great. I mean, I love the vibe.
There is like I hardly ever listen to music that sounds this raw and simultaneously just mad, just like dark dark anger. Just that's a lot of Patterson Hood's writing. Yeah. Patterson writes some angry fucking music. And I it took I like his voice now more than I used to. Like a while back, I didn't listen to them a whole lot because I felt like it just took, it took me a bit to maybe to get used to it or like.
See, I've always had that with Cooley, Mike Cooley's voice.
Yeah.
That one's always been a harder one for me to. I mean, there's still less so on this album, but Patterson, he has moments where his voice is just like, it's just not made to make some sounds, and he tries to make it, and it's just kind of painful. R.E. Sands of Iwo Jima on The Dirty South, that one sticks out on my mind for that. But for the most part, yeah, I don't know, because he has a very like gruff, gravelly, not super melodic voice. Mm-hmm. Which I think, I don't know, like I get where you're coming from, but I also, if he was in any other genre, it wouldn't work. But like with the music that he writes for the Truckers, it works.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Especially with like the guitar tones they're playing and how heavy a fair amount of their songs sound. And I'm talking about like his heavy natured sound, but he has some like still heavy subject matter, but they don't sound as like brooding or like quite as angry. Like Something's Gotta Give is like one of my favorite songs on the album. But
really, I don't even think I have notes for that one.
Oh, really?
I mean, it's a good song. I just don't know. Nothing ever has really stood out for me in that regard.
I got you.
So that's cool. I'm excited. There's some notes that we can talk about more.
I'll pop off. But yeah, Jordan, did you have any initial impressions? Well, go ahead.
I don't know. I didn't. Jamie keeps calling it rock. For some reason I don't associate. Like I know it's like. I guess I have so much association with rock as like AC/DC or like Guns N' Roses or something, that sometimes when you call like stuff like it's like more milder rock, I'm like this doesn't seem like rock, but I know it's like the same category, but it's like it's hard for my brain to like comprehend it. I'm like, oh, this is like,
and that's
soft rock or like country, like soft.
With this one, I kind of feel it more. This is more of it's rock with very thick Alabama accents.
Okay.
I guess. So that's where I can see, because I mean a lot of the music of it is just dirty power chords.
Okay.
For like the rhythms and stuff. And so that's and it's all it's in the same umbrella as rock, because the same thing with AC/DC and stuff. If you go back far enough, it's all rooted in like the pentatonic blues is where the sound comes from. So that's where rock is. That's the thing. It's the kind of thing where it's like it's almost become a catch-all for everything. So it's hard to narrow down stuff. Like, you know, stuff that's indie rock doesn't sound like this, and this doesn't sound like, you're right, it doesn't sound like, you know, the early days of rock where it's, you know, AC/DC, Guns N' Roses, any of that stuff. But it's all under the same umbrella. You just have like, this is Southern rock, but not like Southern jam rock.
Yeah.
Which is what a lot of people would think of if they associate Southern rock, like I said earlier, tying into Allman Brothers and Skynyrd. That's like jam, country influenced Southern rock. It's, yeah.
I got you.
I don't know. I get what you mean. But it gets really, it's kind of like how you can really drill down a bunch of stuff in the umbrella that is like rap and hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same kind of thing. It's just, this is the side that I'm more versed in historically. You're right.
Well, going to the first song,
I get what you mean.
I guess.
Yeah. So this shit is funny because so one last thing.
Were you
really
a fan,
enjoy.
Jordan? Oh,
yeah. How'd you feel about the first song? Okay. So I was gonna say.
Jamie's like, how'd you feel, Jordan? Okay, never mind. Actually, I'm gonna say what I want to say.
The delay's really fucking me up right now.
Sorry. Is it worse than normal?
Yeah. Well, no. I don't know. My connection's kind of weird. It's in and out. It's like, I don't know. I don't know what's
struggle of a bi-coastal podcast.
So it's like I asked a question, but at the same time, one of you told like me to go ahead, but I told someone else to go ahead, so then I didn't know what was happening.
I got you. So you go, Jamie. You go.
So I was just gonna say my last general thoughts. One, I love this album. Has some of my favorite songs that Isbell has ever written on it. But one thing I really like about any of the music with the Truckers, whether it be just Cooley and Hood writing music, or like the little brief part where Isbell's on a few albums writing tracks, you can really tell just listening to the song who wrote which song. Mm-hmm. And I always really like that. They have three, they're all in a similar vein, like a similar enough to be in the same band, but they're all very distinct sounds, which I enjoy a lot. And yeah, just the last little anecdote. I mentioned that my dad was the reason that I liked the Truckers. And I'm really not surprised, and maybe you guys can understand it better too now, where he said that, I don't know if it was for this tour or if it was like the Dirty South, but it was something in the early 2000s, and he saw them at, I don't want to say it and get it wrong, but it's one of like the two, actually now both defunct, one of the two classic like music venues in Winston that are super small. But he said that him and his friend who saw it, they were standing in front of like a brick wall that came up right above their heads, and they were probably like 300 feet from the stage. Mm-hmm. And he said that for the next, I think he says like 3 or 4 days after that, he couldn't fully hear.
Oh my gosh.
And he was worried that he had like permanent hearing damage from it, because as loud and as raucous as this album sounds, picture that, except they're playing it cranked up to 10, passing around fifths of Jack Daniels and drinking them. So they played the fuck out of the music.
And I remembered you telling me that, and then I saw someone say, like, someone tweeted it at Jason Isbell's, like, talking about how loud a show was in the early 2000s that they saw when he was with the Truckers, and I sent it to you, and like Jason had quote tweeted it and was like, yeah, that was like that. I'm glad you noticed that, because that was meant to happen. Like, we really tried to make it as loud as possible, and it was supposed to be part of the experience. It was supposed to be kind of assaultingly loud.
Oh, I get that. I'm sure that like all of them are in better places now than they were at that time. But it's in a weird, selfish way. Like, I wish that I could, like, right now they were doing that again, so I could go to that concert, because I'm sure that the experience would just be fucking insane.
I feel that. We have to find the current day band similar to that and just go have permanent hearing loss.
I really wish Manchester Orchestra stuck with their cope style, because then, oh dude, if I had found out about that band 3 years earlier and got to see them tour cope, holy shit, that'd be crazy.
Yeah,
because that's an album that you cannot play below like 80% volume on whatever you're using to listen to it. It's just it should be illegal.
Yeah,
that album is meant to be speaker annihilating. Loud.
I'm going to see a band called Shame next March, and I might just stand in the back of the show. We'll see, because I feel like it's going to get pretty rowdy. But
okay, so I was wrong about my
the
reasons
thing
for us
falling out of love. I want to fall back in. Jordan, keep it going. Keep it going. It's an Avett Brothers song.
What song is it again?
The song's called
He
Shame.
only knows things off of I Am Loving You.
Jordan's
at all.
Jordan's God, what is the song? I can't think of it right now. It sounds like a surf song.
Heart full of love. What?
No, it's like a slight figure of speech.
Slight figure of speech. Yeah. I got my chest wide open.
Okay.
Yeah, they want us
but yeah, so that someday we're gonna do an Avett Brothers album with you, Jordan.
We did True Sadness.
We did True Sadness, but I mean like an Avett Brothers.
you mean a Glory Days Avett Brothers album? I
mean, True Sadness is good, but like it's no
emotionalism.
It wasn't in the fighting for my top 3 album of all time or anything.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Actually, I don't think I put emotionalism that high.
Oh god, Jamie's throwing up.
I just threw up all over my setup, but let's keep going. But yeah, so that wraps up my general notes.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say,
if we want to get more specific.
Yeah, starting with the first song. For some reason, I didn't hate it. It started out a little weird with like the.
I think I know why.
What? Well, you say you wonder why?
No. He said he thinks he knows why.
Did you finish your thought and then we can.
Like it started out a little weird at first, like.
Because it starts off just Patterson singing, right? Is that what you mean? How it starts off like just him?
Yeah, it's like just a cappella. I'm like, what is this?
Mm-hmm.
By the time you were born, there were 4 other siblings, with your mama waiting, your daddy in jail, and your oldest brother was away at home. And you didn't meet him till you were 19 years old. Old enough to know better. Old enough to know better.
And then
bold start to an album.
Yeah. And then sorry, I just got a call on my thing. I think somebody tried to call me.
Somebody's popular.
Oh, that's what. Okay, yeah, that's what. It's like freaking. It's that call is breaking Discord right now.
Okay. I was like, I might need to call them back in a second. Give me a second. But I was gonna say, just how lulling it is. I don't know why, but the instruments just come together really nicely. I can't put my finger on it. Why per se?
A little Uncle Cracker-esque, you think? Oh god.
Maybe it's like the instruments come together and you feel like this like nurturing, like brotherly love kind of like feeling.
Wait. Brotherly sisterly love?
Like a yeah, you know.
Uh-huh. Like a little stronger than it should be?
So Jordan, the song is about incest.
I didn't realize that until I read the lyrics today. Like I couldn't really piece together the narrative of what was happening until I actually sat down and read the lyrics, and then I was like, oh, so this girl never met her brother until they were both
she
adults,
was 19.
and then they fell in love and they started a family, and then they both went to jail because of that.
And they both went to jail for the 4 babies that they had.
Which is, you know,
weird. What a way to start off your first album after you finally get commercial and critical acclaim.
That's what you
start
decide
to get
to
some
pop
traction.
off with. All right.
Yeah, you start to get some traction. I just picture Patterson to come to him and be like, look, whoever's mixing the album, track 1, a song about incest. The boardroom of that must have been just like,
yeah, they record all their songs, and then they're like, okay, so the deeper in, maybe we leave that one on the cutting room floor. And Patterson Hood is like,
number 1.
I think it should be number 1 on the album.
I think we should start the album with this one, guys. Hear me out. That's fucking insane to me.
You know, it's a little catchy. It poses interesting questions about the compassion of God in the afterlife for the things that they've done.
He might show compassion for a heathen he damned. You know,
But at the same time, not a very easy
weird
situation to empathize with. You know, I don't feel much much sympathy for the situation. But
I know. That's so, because that was one where I never really connected the dots on it either until literally sitting down and reading. I'm like, oh, I kind of got the vibe a few times before. I was like, hey, wait a minute. And then that was like a passing thought and I moved on. But then like sitting down and reading it today, I was like, oh yeah, that's,
And it would have been much more clear if I like actually knew like the turn of phrase that the title of the song is based off of. But I just didn't. It would be like painfully obvious.
The closer kin, the deeper in.
Yeah. That just like makes sense when you know it and you hear the lyrics. But I didn't know it until I read about it. And,
those were some dots that were very hard to connect.
Jordan, you good?
I'm glad Jordan liked the song as the first.
I'm so sorry.
You're fine. We don't have to go back on the discussion that we just had.
That's good. Okay, it's all right. It's all good.
I just hope. Did you hear the joke we made about brotherly love?
No.
Did you hear that at least?
No, I couldn't hear anything.
Yeah. So you were talking about how much you liked it, and we were like, "Oh, You were talking about how well it came together, and we were like, "Oh, I was like, did it come together like, kind of like a brotherly love kind of thing?" Because the song's about incest.
Oh, really?
So yeah, that was the discussion you missed there.
What?
I hate that you missed it.
Wait,
yeah.
The deeper in is about.
So the song title is based off the phrase "the closer kin, the deeper in," which I've never heard before, and I consider myself a fine, upstanding Southern gentleman. But I don't know about that one. As we'll get to an outfit, But so yeah, that song it's good, and I still like the song. But yes, it is about them meeting. He was away at a home, I assume like a children's home or something like that, because it didn't say jail. You didn't meet him till you were 19 years old. Old enough to know better, but you took to his jawline and long sandy hair. And then they went away to town, running from the law, had some kids, and then went to jail for it. And that's kind of where the song wraps up. And then it poses an interesting thought about like, will God forgive us, whatever at the end. But
interesting.
So yeah, they chose their first album after reaching commercial success to start off with a song about incest.
And then people are gonna wonder like, is this like a personal story, my guy, or like obviously probably not, because they probably knew the wife. But what motivates someone to make a song about that? You're like,
I don't know what motivates you is being from rural Alabama.
Like
I guess
these people will love this.
Just
one.
writing about what you see, man.
I feel like this is more of an Appalachian thing.
No, Alabama.
Well, it's all over the deep south.
Actually, maybe.
Over the deep south.
Yeah.
Scary. No, thank you.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just they are all very good at writing about them growing up and telling narratives, not necessarily from their perspective, but just, you know, about growing up in that area. Like, man, there's some so it was torn between this album and the Dirty South for me. There's some fucking bangers on the Dirty South. We might get to that at some point, honestly. Like, I hope you guys like this, because this is not the last you're gonna see of this band, probably.
I'm probably gonna listen to the Dirty South this week, because I've
if you haven't listened to it and you've listened to this one, I would definitely recommend it. And Southern Rock Opera. My dad likes that one a lot. I think it's good. I think if I had followed their narrative like he did more, maybe it would be better for me. But I prefer this one and then the Dirty South.
Yeah.
But they're all good. It's a very good 3 core albums. But yeah, so the second song, Sinkhole, immediately starts more like what, if you know this band, you're expecting from the album. The last song, it was kind of an outlier as far as the structure, especially starting off as the album. Not only from the incest standpoint, but just like melodically. It's a lot calmer than a lot of songs I would expect. But Sinkhole does not start calm. Sinkhole starts mad. This
like
is
distorted guitar
this is where
too.
this is where Patterson Hood, he had the, you know, whatever ballad that the first song. This was one where he is back to just being pissed off about being poor in the South and hating the bankers who just fuck over poor farmers.
Yep. Bury his body in the old sinkhole.
Oh, dude, the fucking so I love the like the last, I guess, half of the first verse. He thinks I ain't got a lick of sense because I talk slow and my money's spent. I ain't the type to hold it against, but he better stay off my farm because it was my daddy's and his daddy's before and his daddy's before and his daddy's before. 5 generations of an unlocked door and a loaded burglar alarm.
He thinks I ain't got a lick of sense because I talk slow, my money's spent. I ain't the type to hold it against, but he better stay off my farm. Cause it was my daddy's and his daddy's before, and his daddy's before, and his daddy's before. 5 generations on an unlocked door and a loaded burglar alarm.
I did like loaded burglar alarm. I was like, hell yes.
That's a fucking bar, dog. That is... He thinks I'm stupid because I talk slow and I don't have any money. But this is my family's farm and I'm going to shoot his fucking ass if he tries to. It's a little like much angrier and the South instead of poor United Kingdom version of Dust Bowl Dance by Mumford and Sons. But man, yeah, this one, he is just fucking... Like, he goes on to talk about the narrator of this. Lots of pictures of my Purdy family, house I was born. Like, the house has been here so long, it's sat through all this shit. And then the banker's doing this. And then, yeah, the last part and where the name of the track comes from. Invite him to dinner for some roast beef, mashed potatoes, sweet tea, whatever. Walk him around the farm. And then bury his body in the old sinkhole 3 times under cold November skies. I think the coldest fucking part of it, though, damned if I wouldn't, after he says that, he says, then damned if I wouldn't go to church on Sunday. Damned if I wouldn't go to church on Sunday. Damned if I wouldn't go to church on Sunday. Look the preacher in the eye.
Bury his body in the old sinkhole. Bury his body in the old sinkhole. Bury his body in the old sinkhole under cold November skies. Damned if I wouldn't go to church on Sunday. Damned if I wouldn't go to church on Sunday. Damned if I wouldn't go to church on Sunday. Look the preacher in the eye.
Dang, he just killed
like
someone
feeling
and...
no remorse.
That's hilarious.
Killing them, burying them on your farm, going to church like nothing happened.
He's a Southern man. He's
That's
doing
fucking
what he's got to
hard.
do.
He's protecting his homestead,
It's
goddamn.
his farm, baby.
And his daddy's before, and his daddy's before.
Yeah, you think some suit and tie MF is gonna roll up and have him sign a piece of paper?
You think some city slicker is going to take my land away? Just because it got oil underneath it?
Wait,
He going to get the gat. You don't get the Thule.
The Thule, the Glock with the dick.
A Glock with a dick.
He's
Two dicks.
He's gonna get that loaded burglar alarm.
Loaded.
Yes, sir.
There are some people when they move out of the South and they drink and they feel reminded of feel connected to, I don't know. It's like the Southern comes out of them whenever they're singing along to whatever, like John Denver and shit like that. I don't know. I kind of feel that whenever I'm like
a wagon wheel.
Whenever I'm listening to this kind of music, this is where I'm like, I don't know. I get into it. I didn't come from a family of shiners, but
see, funny enough,
we grew up next to shiners.
I try to run away from music like this as much as possible because I absolutely do not want to be associated with those kind of people at all. Not that they're bad.
They're entrepreneurs.
No, I'm not saying they're bad. It's just like the music. I don't know. It just doesn't like there's no nostalgia there for me either. Like I feel like a lot of it too is like a lot of music is just growing up like nostalgic and like I guess it can like obviously I don't think I listen to anything like directly rap related, but maybe there's some like intense elements that I listened to when I was younger. That's like I like that intense like beat like even if I listen to like some like hard rock where it's like it builds and then it's like but where was I going with that? Oh yeah, it's just like I feel like there's a little nostalgia with that music obviously. People still make good music, people still like music even though they don't obviously, but for me I'm just like
bro, I don't know if I've been drinking a little bit or like if I'm not sober and I hear like if I'm in the right mood and like John like Take Me Home Country Roads comes on or something, tears might come to my eyes.
Tears?
It's not. Yeah, dude, just getting like wistful about.
I feel like that
missing
song...
family and friends and everyone back and driving through like the Appalachian Mountains and shit.
See, weird enough, I didn't actually hear that song until it was like. Okay, well, I definitely heard it. I don't know if anybody didn't hear it when it wasn't overrated because it's been played so much since like the dawn of time.
That's almost criminal. That's almost criminal.
What?
Overrated.
That you didn't get to grow up with that beautiful masterpiece of a song.
I didn't. So I was in like college, and I'm like, I feel a little out of place right now.
I remember like when we would go to a neighbor 2 doors down, we'd walk down there for like every. We'd have our family's meals, and then that's where like their families would all come into town, and that's where we would walk down and do like big Christmas feasts, other like cookouts in the summer, shit like that, and just all the adults drinking, doing karaoke on like a shitty 1990s tube mic karaoke box that was all like Delta Dawn, Elvira,
yes sir,
Great Balls of Fire, Take Me Home Country Road. Like it was all the fucking hits, right?
Let's go.
And so that's for me, that's where those songs come from. And it's just like that song to me is so wrapped up in like emotional connections to the roots of where I was grown into the beautiful flower that I am today.
Are you talking about Take Me Home Country Roads
and the soil of the Piedmont? The Country Roads by John Denver specifically, and other stuff like a lot of old Johnny Cash and shit like that. Listening to Rocky Top with my grandparents because my grandma was from Tennessee, shit like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I've always Southern music will always have a spot in my heart, as we'll get into in one of the songs in here. But so you mentioned. Oh, we fell into Jordan's salad bowl.
Oh.
So you mentioned that you like harder stuff. How did you feel about Hell No, I Ain't Happy?
Hell No, I Ain't Happy?
That's about as like old school drive-by truckers as it gets to me.
Yeah.
On this album. Just straight up.
Well,
just mad.
If we're saying like comparing it to like the first, again, when I listen to newer albums, I focus more on the music than I do the lyrics. So,
I think it's all ties into just being pissed off.
No, it does. It was kind of similar to Sinkhole, but then even like revved up a little bit more. Even like the distortion was like a little bit more. I could hear a little bit like more anger in his voice, maybe a little more rasping. Just obviously like he had a vendetta out.
Yeah, and I especially think of that whenever it gets into the part where he's actually saying, it's not quite the chorus, but the "Hell no, I ain't happy" part of the music, like it slows down pace wise a little bit, but it's just got like so much distortion going on.
Yeah.
And he's just screaming that into the mic that it's so like drunk and angry at a bar sounding to me, but like in the best possible way.
I do like how they incorporated a lot of distortion. When did this album come out again?
2003 was the release date of the album.
I always think like a lot of bands were still using like rap was obviously one of like I think of like the first to like start using like incredibly like synthesizer electronic music, but you can even see it like in this a little bit. Like they weren't just like plucking instruments and like, you know, recording that. They were definitely putting something on it, or they were doing something to the guitar to make it sound
right. There's not a clean, except for the acoustic, the straight up acoustic guitar parts. There's not a clean guitar track on.
Nah, there's not, which is like, I guess it's good for me to hear that because sometimes I just assume like that I'm like,
and this isn't. I wouldn't say that
band.
there's not necessarily the synth part, but there is just so much, just like thick, heavy distortion.
Yeah,
you get a bunch of fuzz going on. You know, someone's got at least one dirty muff on their pedal board. You know, that's just what's
dirty. What?
It's got to be dirty muff. It's like the hallmark fuzz pedal sound that started to crop up in the 70s. It was made by Electro Harmonics, the dirty muff. I actually have one on my pedal board. Oh, sorry, the big muff. Oh my god. So there's the big muff and there's the big muff pie, and I've got the pie. It's just more selection. But yeah, the big muff is like the classic. That and the fuzz face. That was the other big in like the late 60s all the way through like the mid 80s. That was like the fuzz sounds you had to have if you were a real musician. But yeah, so that's what's going on this one. It's just a lot of fuzz. Man, just starting out with him shouting, there's a lot of bad wood underneath the veneer. The word choice there, it just feels like he's just like chewing on every word and just like spitting them out. Like the harsh sounds of that opening line, I think it just so good. Mm-hmm. Starts off angry, continues angry. Was this a song you had heard before? Because I remember last week when I said this album, you asked if this one was on it, Nick.
Yeah. I think I knew this and Outfit and Decoration Day, of course, and I had heard "Marry Me" before. I had heard I think I'd heard "Something's Got to Give" pretty soon, and I feel like there was like one more maybe, but
I don't know what it would be out of all the maybe.
I just named like
Do It Yourself. I don't know.
Yeah,
you named all
heard
the
that
big
before.
ones.
I'd heard My Sweet Annette too, but anyways.
Yeah. So like half the album.
Yeah. Yep, I just listed half the album. But I had heard it before, and like I just remembered we've said it like 10 times now. How angry it was. How like
Bro, it's fun.
It's not even like brooding, like it's not like below the surface. He's just He's just incredibly pissed.
Hell no, I ain't happy.
Yeah. And I like reading the lyrics, I think it's funny how much it's kind of about touring and like how dim the life can be, even though it's so fun to see all sorts of new places. Like you don't have home, and you don't have like, especially if you're married, you spend so much time away from your partner, it's just hard. It's harder to keep that alive, you know? And like,
Yeah.
And just hearing them, I feel like it's funny, but it's also really genuine and really like it takes a lot of guts to like sing that to a crowd who like came to see you at a show.
Right,
and
to say like, this fucking sucks.
You're like, yeah, sometimes I fucking hate this, but I have to do it. And,
right.
And
gotta do it to make money.
But that's something I admire the most in any musician. It's just being genuine and singing about some form of personal experience and just voicing that with how passionate they are. It's like it's like almost scary, like how angry they are. And yeah, I like it a lot. It's cool. It's you put that in like if you want an angry pump up playlist. Or just like
yes, absolutely.
Or if you just want like an anger playlist, there you go.
Yeah,
angry
playlist. It doesn't necessarily have to be productive. What productive anger? Sometimes you just gotta fucking.
Sometimes you just work it out.
Sometimes you gotta get just fucking mad. That's why I can't wait to get like good headphones for my amp, so I can play loud and play like practice playing this kind of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Just louder stuff that I don't want to like bother other people with or like sucking. So it's like can't wait.
Sucking.
Like the second I get headphones, I'm fucking learning how to play Cope by Manchester Orchestra. That's so high on the list. But yeah, so you mentioned Marry Me. That's the next track, and it's actually so the first three have been Patterson Hood writing. But Marry Me is Mike Cooley's first track on the album. Mm-hmm. The other longtime and still current member of the Drive-By Truckers. And he, I don't know. I've always really liked Marry Me. This is one where...
Yeah.
So I have a more personal connection to Outfit. But this is one where I just remember I don't know any context surrounding it, but I remember my dad telling me the lines of it. Like the song opens, great opening lines. Well, my daddy didn't pull out, but he never apologized. Rock and roll means well, but it can't help telling young boys lies. Well, my daddy didn't pull out, but he never apologized.
The lies part?
Great opening lines.
What does that mean?
Well, I remember him saying those first two lines to me, and I don't know the context. It was like a joke or whatever, but for some reason that's just in my head as a memory. But I think that shit is so funny.
I forget what the two lines are after that, but I think like the first
A baby's on the way. A baby on the way is a good enough reason to get you out alive, get you out without having to swallow any pride. A baby on the way is a good enough reason to get you out alive, get you out without having to swallow any pride.
Yeah, and that's about like, is that about like, yeah, I don't know if it's about his dad specifically or just like the character in the song. Their dad getting out of rock and roll before they did something stupid,
right? Because
they had him, because they had the narrator
having a good reason to get out of it, because it hasn't cracked up to everything you thought it would be. It's kind of fun because it's saying like, my life sucks, but my daddy didn't pull out and he never apologized because he used me to get out of something that he hated too. So thus the cycle continues. Like I think that's what the lines kind of allude to. Mm-hmm. But yeah, other than that, I mean, it's a good song. Like the chorus is really good. Like the guitar is really nice and swingy.
Yeah, I thought I was
it's got a good like feeling to it.
So marry me, sweet thing, won't you marry me? Your mama thinks I beat anything she's ever seen.
I feel like I hesitate to compare it, but I feel like it is kind of a Skynyrd-esque song. Like I feel like the last people the Drive-By Truckers want to be compared to is Lynyrd Skynyrd with their personal values. Mm-hmm. But
Like the fact that Skinner just tours with a Confederate flag behind him.
Yeah.
Jesus.
But
How are you a band that was like such a hit with hippies and you just none of that imprinted?
Yeah. That's funny.
but I feel like this is like the most good timey song on the album. Just like energetic, like like have fun at the concert.
Nothing super crazy heavy.
Yeah.
You know.
Funny turns of phrases. He says like towards the end of the second verse he says something about like coming home to someone else like laying in his bed and like but it's a cartoon town and that's just what happens.
Right.
Like it's just like it is what it is. It just happens. Like just because I don't run my mouth don't mean I got nothing to say. What does he say in the bridge? He says something about like just because they got more money in mouth than they got balls. Like it's just it's full of like southern southern humor that's just like kind of making light of
I meant to say that. I meant to say
situations.
that it's a great bridge in the song.
Yeah.
I don't want anything I done to be nobody's fault. Even if they got more money in mouth than they got balls. That's just how it went down. Right or wrong, it's just that way. And just 'cause I don't run my mouth don't mean I got nothing to say.
But the lyrics are funny, high energy. It's a good time. Good time.
I was gonna
song
say,
all around.
I did enjoy the song a lot. It kind of reminds me. It kind of sounds like the way the guitar strings or the chords or whatever. It kind of sounds just like a traditional, like I don't know how to explain it, but like a race day kind of song, like a
Okay.
like at a NASCAR event. Like you could like hear this in the background and like
It's really
it's like the
funny that you say that.
like the guitar solo part.
Because, yeah.
Does that make sense though? What I'm saying?
I get what you mean,
Okay,
and it's
okay.
also funny that you drew that connection because there's a song on the Dirty South that Mike Cooley wrote and sings that's about his dad, who was a race car driver who died, and he took on the mantle to try to win a championship for his family name.
Wow, that's insane.
That's wild. That you loosely, tangentially drew that connection.
Well, I'm smart.
in
What
the
can I
ether.
say?
Jordan just knows. Jordan's actually listened to their entire discography, and he's just planting seeds to make us think he's smarter than he is. But he just knows.
I'm a knower.
His endless wisdom. Jordan's
He's
the
eating that
podcast
salad.
oracle.
I'm gonna have to mute that salad next week, bro. But so we go from there into another fucked song from Patterson Hood's writing pad, "My Sweet Annette."
It's just about
Man, this shit's just.
it's just about a guy
so-
leaving his soon-to-be wife in the 1930s for her supposed best friend
At the altar,
Yeah.
leaving her at the altar
with her maid of honor.
with her maid of honor, who he never met before their engagement party.
It happens.
Does it? It's just so fucked.
Fictionally,
Like-
it happens.
This man, it's great. Like, okay, so the chorus is great, but it's just, "My sweet Annette was left standing at the altar." My sweet Annette was left standing at the altar because yeah, the narrative is just they were supposed to marry in October 33. I never noticed her best friend Mary Lee, and then he's like, I met her at the engagement party. Everything was fine. Swear I never noticed her. She was left standing at the altar. She got
Jeez.
sick. I walked her home because it was in the Times. It wasn't fitting for a girl to leave alone. Sweet. The fuck part though is where so that verse, it's Mary Lee was taken ill. It was several miles from home. Back then, it wasn't fitting for a girl to leave alone. Sweet Annette, his fiance in this case, she asked me to walk her to the door as innocent as children before the war. Like he formed a connection with this person he eloped with because his fiance at the time suggested he walk her home. Like that's like his fiance told him to walk her to the door, and then he was like, by the next sunset, I had eloped with Mary Lee.
Oh,
like shit's wild, bro. This song's one of those fucked ones.
I thought I've always thought the song was like a little strange, like how severe how quickly like the narrator just like flipped to another woman without like a ton of description of his personal character or anything.
She must have been banging, bro. I mean, she a baddie, so I don't know what to say.
But what do you expect? But I do love there's two little lines in the song that or maybe in the bridge, they're towards the end where they say, Lord have mercy for what we've done. Lord have mercy when two people get along. I just thought I thought that was like interesting the way he says Lord have mercy when two people get along, like because that's usually a good thing, but he's saying it like it's a bad thing.
Lord have mercy for what we've done. Lord have mercy when two people get along. Neither one of us done anything like that, you see. By the next sunset, I had eloped with Mary Lee. By the next sunset, I had eloped with Mary Lee. By the next sunset, I had eloped with Mary Lee.
Yeah.
Right.
I thought it was an
Neither
interesting
one of
way
us
to
had
write
done
it.
anything like that, you see.
Yeah,
By the next sunset, I had eloped with Mary Lee.
I still think about that line like whenever I listen to this album. I'm like, what exactly did he mean?
I don't know, bro.
You decide.
It's kind of
listener.
fucked. It's kind of like the line off of Tommy's Party by Peach Pit.
Wait, are you sure it's that similar?
No,
I don't know what line you're referring to.
The neither one of us had done anything like that, you see, and then Tommy's Party says, did you tell her you never did anything like this before or something? I saw your two pairs of shoes by the door or something.
Same thing.
I should have been able to quote that line better for throwing it out like that. That's my bad. You know, I'll accept
Patterson
the fault on that
Hood,
one.
Neil from Peach Pit. You know,
Pretty sure his last name's Smith.
Peach Pit is like the worst band I've ever heard. But anyways, we can continue on. We don't really need it. We can just gloss over that. I'm kidding. Guys, if you didn't know, Jamie just loves Peach Pit with a passion. So
I do love them.
listen to the two
somehow
tins.
Glass Animals was my top 5 songs this year.
Heatwaves was a banger, dude. Heatwaves was me.
Heatwaves was. The
Spotify
albums are
was
great.
very out of pocket, making Kanye my 5th most listened to artist.
That's funny,
That's
and I
you
want to
being out
know
of
why.
pocket. That's you being out of pocket, Nick.
That's not them. That's you, Nick.
That's
me.
You. That was me in my hype headspace.
That's not Spotify. That's you.
Yeah. That's the meme that's
Spotify just tells you.
You know the Subway meme that's like people complain about their Subway sandwich. MFU made the sandwich.
Bitch, you made it.
Yeah. It's the same thing about Spotify rap. It's like people complaining about their Spotify rap. MFU listen to the music.
That's just what you listen to.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm telling on myself. All I have been listening to for the past week has just been me going back to my other year top 100 songs and just listening to them on shuffle.
Yeah.
Man, 2018, that was a great year of music for me. Because it was
that was your prime.
That was the last point before my music really changed. So it's like I'm listening to shit and I'm like, Pearl Jam is number 2 out of 100 songs that year with Black from 10. You know,
I'm in my flop era currently.
You're in your flop era.
I am. I listened to too much Kings of Leon this year. It's unhealthy for a man.
Damn. But yeah, so we go from My Sweet Annette to one of my favorites on the album and Isabel's first appearance on the album, which is Outfit.
Supreme song.
Great song. I love this song. Supreme song. You're right.
In concert, phenomenal. Just spectacular.
Dude, I can't wait. I cannot wait for him to, because I mean he's gonna play it, so I can't wait to hear him play it again. But this song, immaculate. I love it. So overall, I talked about it a little bit. I think it's good advice coming from a Southern background where I didn't, I got the good parts from the South. I didn't get stereotypical racism. Racism's everywhere, but I got like the good parts of the South, the things about,
Go ahead, explain.
So the chorus is don't call what you're wearing an outfit. Don't ever say your car is broke. Don't worry about losing your accent. A Southern man tells better jokes.
Don't call what you're wearing an outfit. Don't ever say your car is broke. Don't worry about losing your accent. A Southern man tells better jokes.
So the first line there is just saying like, don't fuss too much over shit. You can call your clothing an outfit, but it's saying like, especially when the song is written, outfit was stereotypically for like the gentrified city folk, the like wealthier who like care about shit that ultimately doesn't really matter. Don't ever say your car is broke, as in like, broke is not don't ever say your car is broke in the sense of that's not good. Like, know what the problem is, and that could be applied to more than just your car. Just know in life, don't just throw your hands up and say like, oh, it's broken. Say like, what's the step to fixing, what's the real problem,
our car,
that kind of thing.
It's broken.
Yeah. So it's so
Still
I mean, already we're getting great advice. And don't worry about losing your accent. A Southern man tells better jokes. Like, be proud of where you came from. Like, there's good and bad from it, but there's good and bad from everywhere you came from. So embrace, like, the good and be proud of, the Southern aspects of being, like, helpful and problem solving and, like...
And nice.
Just generally nice to people. Like, just... So that kind of things. It's which I've tried to take through me in life as I've gone on my way, Like, I still head nod at everybody. I still like give everyone a wave whenever I drive by them.
Me too.
Like
I'm holding doors open every single day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, hold doors open all the time.
Same,
if someone,
same.
If they says hi, say like hi. I don't like ignore anyone. Stuff like that. But another, have fun and stay clear of the needle. Have fun, do it smartly. Don't be stupid. Call home on your sister's birthday. Don't forget your family. Don't ever tell them you're bigger than Jesus. Don't give it away.
Have fun, stay clear of the needle. Call home on your sister's birthday. Don't tell him you're bigger than Jesus. Don't give it away. Don't give it away.
That one, I don't fit in that much as much. But it's more just like, just know that you ain't shit.
I thought you said you got all the good parts.
And like keep your ego in check.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's more what that, which is, so I take that. And then in the other one, it's same thing. Don't call what you're wearing an outfit. Don't never say your car's broke. Don't sing with a fake British accent. Don't act like your family's a joke.
Don't ever say your car is broke. Don't sing with a fake British accent. And don't act like your family's a joke.
Once again, reiterating, don't be who you're not. Don't fake whatever perception for whoever. If you are yourself, you're going to find people who like you for you and will support you as you, and that matters way more than meaningless surface level like being liked.
True, brother.
And then don't act like your family's a joke. Once again, keep in mind like where you came from. Remember that, and because nothing gets done by pretending that everything is all bad here and everything's all good here, and then just fully running away. That's kind of why my mom has stayed in Yadkin County for so long. She's like, if I can stay on the inside and make it better from within, that'll do a lot more than, saying, man, we need to help them over there, stuff like that. So it's that kind of thought where it's like improvement is made by people who are willing to be a part of that, embrace it, and put in the work.
And I've heard Jason Isbell
hours?
say that before. And take what's ours?
Sorry,
it's about drive?
But yeah.
Yes. I'm sorry. I've heard
right.
Jason say that before about Nashville. Someone asked him, like, if he doesn't agree with the people who live in the area, why doesn't he move away? And he said, if I move away, like, who's going to help it?
Right, that's one less person to help throw in a countering voice to all the fuck shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Does that mean you're moving out to Yadkin County, Jamie? Anytime soon?
No, but I will gladly
hold your horses.
But at the same time, I'm not gonna like pretend I didn't come from that place, because it's not even, if I can help change the image in an outside area, if I can be like, you've met me, I'm a good person, I like to think, but I'm still gonna gladly say like where I'm from, because then if that even just helps someone mentally not write off that part of the country anymore, then that's still an improvement. It's not like I'm in the county helping that, like I'm not in the rural parts helping that, but if I can help people understand that like everyone is still people, then I think that if everyone knew that, then it would help a lot of the problems that we are plagued with, where people on both sides of every political spectrum, they just fully write off the other people, and you're just as bad as everyone else if you do that. If you don't recognize people's humanity and their like free will and try to empathize and see where they're coming from, then you're just as bad, I think. So it's that kind of thing where if I can help change someone's mind about like the rural South, then I'll gladly do that.
Yeah,
I've got no shame about it.
Yes, sir.
I feel like I've come out pretty well. So if I can set an example to people, then so be it.
I agree. I'm right there with
you. Yeah, so my final thoughts on that song. I love all of the song, but I really, really love the last part of the second verse. But I got to missing your mama. So it's his dad's parting advice to him, and I got to his dad's doing all this like whatever work, being away from his family. But I got to missing your mama, and I got to missing you too. So I went back to painting for my old man, and I guess that's what I'll always do. Like, I wanted to do these better things, but family's too important. So, I'll just suck it up, do whatever shitty work, and fuck it. I guess that's what I'll do to get this life that I'm living right now. So don't let them take who you are, boy, and don't try to be who you ain't. And don't let me catch you in Kendale with a bucket of wealthy man's paint.
So don't let them take who you are, boy, and don't try to be who you ain't. And don't let me catch you in Kendale with a bucket of wealthy man's paint.
Those four lines in particular always hit home to me in the song. It's like, don't sacrifice who you are for whatever. Like, be yourself, because that's what matters ultimately. And like, do something better than what I've done with the gifts that you've been given. Like don't let me catch you doing the same shitty stuff that I'm doing right now, because you can do so much better. Do it. That kind of thoughts. And so I always really love those lines.
Yeah.
I think it hits very, very home.
Yeah. You literally talked about all my favorite parts of the song. I don't really have any additional notes.
It's because they're so good. Those parts are just fucking incredible. Dude.
Yeah. And you read the lines, but I think you emphasize more the last lines of the second verse. And I really love the portion, I got to missing your mama and I got to missing you too.
Yeah.
But I went back to painting for my old man, and I guess that's what I'll always do.
5 years in a St. Florine foundry, they call it industrial park. Then hospital maintenance and tech school, just to memorize Frigidaire parts.
that's what I'll always do.
And like you just said, it's just because family and like the people you love are the most important thing, more important than whatever you can build out of your professional life, is what I've I've taken from it.
Right, and that's kind of what's always stuck to me versus going, because so when I went to college my freshman year, that like my dad in his final like written words to me upon going in, like my mom, like they both wrote me a letter or whatever, and he ended his letter with the chorus of this song. And so one, that tied into it, but also just listening to the words over the last 5 and some change years that I've moved out of the house, or not 5, 4 and change. And so like moving out of then and then now moving 1,600 miles across the country, living out here, starting a life. It's I still carry that with me, where it's like the things that I miss and that I'm excited about for like holidays isn't anything except for getting to see my friends and family. Like that's to me paramount in life. Oh. And so yeah, I've just kind of always taken that, and so that's why this song also just really hits home for me. Yeah, as well. Yeah, beautiful song.
It is.
One of the large reasons why I wanted to pick this album. But we can move on from there. I have shorter notes for almost every other song. It Sounds Better in the Song is the next song that I have notes for. I can't remember if it's the one right after it or not. It's not. I didn't have anything for Heathens.
You don't want to do Heathens by the 21 Pilots?
Patterson Hood be like, song, all my friends are heathens, take it slow.
My name's Blair Reface, and I love Heathens.
I'm in the skeleton crew.
Oh my god!
But I've always so with the fucking skeleton face. Stop, bro. So I've always liked the weirdly intimate, but also kind of like uneasy feeling I get from this song. I don't know if you guys have that, but the whole song I'm kind of like a little on edge, where I'm like, this just doesn't feel quite right.
Heathens or sounds better in the song.
Sounds better in the song.
Yeah, it's a little. The guitar, what's it called? The guitar. They're not guitar picks. He like picks at the strings though. You know what I'm saying? Like the.
Mm-hmm. It's really good. Yeah. It's very intricate work.
I'm saying it sounds it does have like a mysterious element to it, because instead of like playing a chord together, well, it probably still is a chord, but it sounds like very individual for some reason. Whenever you can hear like some individual strings in there, it definitely sounds like at one point, Jamie, it's like in the middle of the song, it sounds like it's not bad, but it sounds like it like doesn't go with the rest of the song. I can't explain it. Mm-hmm. It's like when there's no singing, he's just like he's like just plucking. You know the part I'm talking about?
I think so.
It sounds like
I'll do my best to cut it in.
But maybe that's just because like I don't.
Cause now she's found herself, now lost mine, and I'm just another guy who can't give her anything.
It might just be like a chord change or like an out of key chord or something like that.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. Yeah, but I think it's interesting that Cooley's second song on the record deals with what I take to mean is like an ended marriage now, or like a failed marriage or something. So his first one was "Marry Me," and then this one, I don't think is the sequel to it, but it just feels kind of weird. Nice Freebird reference in it. The drifter, he holds on to his youth just like it was money in the bank, and Lord knows I can't change sounds better in the song than it does with Hell to Pay.
Well, the drifter, he holds on to his youth just like it was money in the bank, and Lord knows I can't change sounds better in the song than it does with Hell to Pay.
That's like where the title of the song comes from. Yeah, but yeah, I always enjoy the the Freebird reference thrown in.
Mm-hmm. The Skinner
And how
self-awareness.
it does sound way better in the song than like if you are actually a person who literally can't change to your own detriment.
True.
Lord, I can't change.
Ginny up on the rail. Won't you
Ginny's
fly,
on that goddamn rail, bro.
Freebird?
It's so funny because I heard that song like 100 times before I ever saw that movie, so I don't have that mental synapse made there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, that's like they fully associate that scene with that song, and it's a very impactful scene with that song.
That's the first
Like, don't
time
get
I
me
ever
wrong.
heard that song, I think.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
To me,
I didn't.
Well, I also didn't see Forrest Gump till I was in like 8th grade.
I didn't hear Freebird, like the full song, for the longest time. I feel like until I like played it on Rock Band, which is just strange.
That's insane.
I heard like
because
"Give Me
that
Three
song-
Steps"
That song is
and like "Sweet Home Alabama" like before those.
Sweet Home Alabama. I'm not surprised. Give Me 3 Steps. I'm surprised that you heard that song before you heard Freebird.
Yeah, I know. Me too.
One of the in almost every definitive like best rock list song of like best rock song list of all time, it's always been either if you're in the north it's Stairway, and if you're in the south it's Freebird.
True.
And then Stairway's number 2, and then vice versa. For the north.
Yeah.
But so that's crazy to me that you heard "Give Me 3 Steps." Yeah. Yeah, so I enjoy. Oh my god, I just threw my thing.
Oh.
So I always enjoy that
Jamie's
that
pissed.
reference. And then so you mentioned you had something for Something's Got to Give pretty soon. I didn't have anything for that one. If you wanna take charge on that.
Yeah. Nothing super specific with the lyrics, other than it just sounds like it. The song is like just kind of brooding sadness, just like impending negative outcome is kind of the theme I get from the song. You know, it's like it's kind of the same thing as Hell No, I Ain't Happy. Like the hardships of tour, being away from someone, your lifestyle being detrimental to like your personal relationships, but like it's just him seeming like he's singing about like wishing it could be better, but like she loves him for who he is, and because of who he is, it's hard for them to be together. It's like a catch-22 type thing.
Right.
And the whole idea of something's got to give pretty soon is like, if something doesn't change, if they can't figure out how to make it work better, like something's gonna give. It's gonna fall apart. And
Right.
I thought it was a little touching, like the tone of it all. It just fits.
Mm-hmm.
It just fits well together in my mind. It's a well crafted sad song. That's angry at the situation, not like angry at a person, but angry at the circumstance.
I was gonna say I like at the end too when he gets kind of like a little bit more intense and the music starts to build just a little bit at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And he's kind of like he's not screaming to the mic, but he's like I feel like he's like pouring his like heart out into the mic a little bit.
Something's gotta give pretty soon. As we're gonna lose the very things that made it bloom. Sitting in silence in a cold and lonely room while the world goes on around us. Something's gotta give pretty soon. As we're gonna hate each other. And that would be the saddest thing I ever seen.
Yeah. There's I forget the exact lines around it, but there's a part where he says "it ain't me" twice, and every time he sings that, I'm like, ooh, he's going through it. He's fighting it out.
He's on one right now, bro. He's on one.
But that's all I had for that one.
See, I love you. You mentioned like a little like. I think did you use the word foreboding when you first described the song a little bit?
I think I said brooding.
If not,
but foreboding is a good.
Yeah.
Foreboding is also a good word to describe it.
Here, you want to try it?
But
yeah. So, it's like the start of when the pin hits the shell, or not? Not that.
Wait.
Hell no, I ain't happy. I meant to mention that it starts off with a fucking cold one getting cracked open.
it does. Yeah,
yeah. As I'm crushing cold ones right now. But yeah, so Vic did not like that taste. of that one. But yeah, so with Your Daddy Hates Me, I love how like foreboding the whole instrument. Like this is one where it's just like, oh, I'm on edge the entire fucking time listening to it. Just the boom. It's like the lyrics are really slow. All the instruments are slow, and then it just gets fucking loud.
Yeah.
And I know your daddy hates me. And I got a room in hell reserved.
It's just the whole. So I love how foreboding it is. Vic fucking laughed when I said the title. Should have said it Southern. Your daddy hates me.
Your daddy hates me.
But great vocals on specifically the delivery of the lines where it's and I always loved your daddy. I loved your mama even more. And you always was the apple of my eyes, that's for sure. That part just feels so fucked up. I don't know I don't know if it's the intent of it, but the delivery of that, it just feels like he's just saying he hates everybody, even though that's not what the lyrics are. That part just feels so like
it feels like it's in jest,
grimy.
like like in jest in a terrible way. Like
it feels like he's saying that and then spitting into their faces, like after he says it. It like the whole thing just feels so brutal. But after those lines, absolutely great solo.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite solos.
And I always loved your daddy. I loved your mama even more. And I always loved the daughter, that's for sure. And I know your daddy.
Absolutely insane slide work going on, which leads me to believe I think it's got to be Isbell playing lead on that part. Because as far as I know, I think Cooley plays mostly acoustic stuff. He also plays electric, but I don't think he goes too crazy. Patterson Hoodie's good, but he's like, when he plays solos, it's just like he's just playing fucking loosely tied together notes. It's like it's like a fever dream, kind of like his lyrics. But that's got to be Isbell with that tone and the way that he's stringing the notes together. I'm not positive because I haven't seen them play it live, but I'm pretty sure it's got to be Isbell playing the slide on that solo, and like the tone of it is just so good, and I love that solo. It's got so many good repeated notes, and it just builds the tension so well.
Yeah.
But that whole song is like I got like goosebumps the whole time I'm listening to it.
I need to listen to it again. Something about it didn't exactly mesh with me, but I feel like I just didn't want to even subject myself to that much like anger, you know, like not that it was,
if you really feel it, it's just like, oh, you're boiling.
Yeah. Not that it was like gonna put me in an angry
I'm a
mindset,
little lobster,
but I just like I didn't want to get close to it, you know, and I think that's why I didn't feel it as much, but I could
prickly
get
like
into
a
it.
Cactus.
Prickly song.
That's a good one to turn up loud on the old car stereo.
Prickly cactus.
Wait.
Mine, so Careless, I think it's the start of it's fantastic, and I kind of like how the song just starts with like the pedal to the floor, but I didn't really have any more notes for that. I don't know if you guys did.
Yeah, not really.
It got a little chaotic in the middle, a little bit.
A little bit, yeah, I can see it. My next real notes were for when the pin hits the shell, though.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. It was like, it was hard for me to really kind of wrap my head around like what exactly the message was or like what they were going for with the song, but I enjoyed the overall sound of it.
Yeah, it's so I've always, I guess it's not explicitly said. I always thought it was like about a friend that committed suicide.
Oh, okay.
But it's definitely a friend who they were close to when growing up who died by gun.
Okay.
Whether it's self-inflicted or external party inflicted. It's not really clear, but because of the first verse where it says, you can lie to your mama, you can lie to your race, but you can't lie to nobody with that cold steel in your face.
You can lie to your mama, you can lie to your race, but you can't lie to nobody with that cold steel in your face. And the same God you were so afraid is gonna send you to hell is the same one you're gonna answer to when the pen hits the shell.
I thought that meant like you can lie to everyone else that like you're doing well, but like if you're about to do this, then obviously you're lying. Like you can't lie to anyone else when that happens.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's what I thought it was. And then the lines after that, and the same God you were so afraid was going to send you to hell is the same one you're going to answer to when the pin hits the shell.
Oh, okay.
So I always took that to mean it was suicide, not like someone else doing.
When the pin hits the shell, what is it, like a pin?
Yeah,
what is that referencing?
So how a gun fires is you have the bullet in it's the firing pin hitting the charge part of the shell of the casing of the bullet. So that's what it's saying there. I just think that's always so heavy. Verse 3 and 4 I think are also really, really heavy as well. When me and you, we liked our pills and our whiskey, but you don't want your head full of either one when the house gets quiet and dark. Like when you're alone with your demons, you don't want to be fucked up because something drastic will happen, maybe.
Yeah.
Feeling good, it used to come so damn easy. That line is heavy, I think. Racing trains from 2nd Street to Avalon, that's just like them doing stuff as kids. Take a trip down memory lane, you don't see no friendly faces. All the houses have been painted and nobody knows your name. Like how mentally with time you can kind of distort memories in the past. It's enough to make a man not want to be nobody's daddy when all he thinks he's got left to hand down is guilt and shame. I always think those lines are really heavy too. But yeah, just really with the first verse and the first part of the third verse, I think it's just like, whew.
Yeah, it is. It's a very, even without me fully understanding what they were talking about, it was, I could tell it was like a heavy, very heavy subject,
Cooley,
man.
dude. That's how his songs are, man.
Yeah.
Maybe they're not always the best sounding, but like subject matter wise, it's always something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really have much for that one.
But it's, gotcha. Yeah, so I was gonna say I think it's interesting that both him and Patterson Hood, who have the song right after it, Do It Yourself, which is explicitly about suicide. I think it's interesting how they both have songs like this followed back to back, but different vibes on different takes on the like if then the person in the last song did commit suicide, different takes on that person who did do that, because in Do It Yourself I think it's an interesting take, and I don't feel like it's fully isolated. Like I think it's a part of when you're left behind by someone. I think it's a topic that is kind of taboo because it ties into the whole don't speak ill of the dead, and then also even more so if it's someone who feels the need to take their own life. You're not allowed to be to be mad or whatever, because it's like, you know what, you don't know what they went through, right? And I get that argument of it, but I think it's also I think it's fair for those left behind to also, you know, just not necessarily be blame the person for it, but just be like mad about it, and just like, it sounds like a very mad song, but I think it's also more so coming from a place of like exasperation and trying to comprehend it, and part of that stage in that is getting mad at the situation and thus the person to do it. So I think it's an interesting take, and it's because that kind of thing has a lot of complicated emotions that I feel like we don't give everyone the space to talk about. We say like talk about how you feel, but I don't think all of those emotions are given a floor and enough light. And I think this song kind of touches on that, how just so the gist of the song is just being angry at the selfishness of the person who took their own life in this case, and left behind, like, you know, talks about you know,
a wife and kids, and like
wife and kids you left behind,
and talked about like
you were your mom and dad's only boy, shit like that.
It, like the simultaneously, like when they like were alive, it sounded like they had a lot of like self-pitying tendencies that that drag down the people around them. And I feel like this song is like a snapshot of the pure anger stage of grief, you know, like. Right. I feel like
exactly.
Whenever someone close to me has like passed away, I don't really. No one particularly close to me has ever taken their own life. No one like super close to me within like 1 degree of close friendship or like familial relationship or anything like that. But but definitely with like. Even just like grandparents, like I didn't have like a long stage of anger, but like maybe for a brief second one day I was like why was it like this? Like why couldn't it have been easier for them? You know, like why? Yeah.
Right.
And that was from like a peaceful passing, like later in life. It wasn't even a sudden thing. So I can definitely see how someone would be as angry as the narrator is in this song, you know?
Yeah, especially like even in the first verse he ends it with, "You tried so hard to make us all hate you, but I think in the end you were the only one. Like only you hated you. The rest of us are like left behind and fucked up about this. Sick, tired, pissed, and wired. You never thought about anyone else. You tried in vain to find something to kill you. In the end, you had to do it yourself." Yeah, that is like pure anger.
Yeah,
like that shit is hard.
Yeah, it's. Yeah, those are the chorus is like some of the probably heaviest writing that I've like ever heard in a song.
I mean,
some of the most severe,
in conjunction with like the guitar of it. He's fucking saying it with his chest.
Yeah, but
100%.
But I do love you said it, the sick, tired, pissed, and wired. Just very clever.
Never thought about anyone else.
Great.
Yeah, because he talks about like, you know, you ran from life and all its pleasures, your own teeth marks in your own damn hand. Like that kind of shit. I'm like, damn. This whole one is just filled with bars where you're like, holy shit. Like, but yeah, I think that my favorite part of it is, and some might say I should cut you slack, kind of what we were talking about. And some might say I should cut you slack. But you worked so hard at unhappiness. Living too hard just couldn't kill you. So in the end, you had to do it yourself. Followed by that guitar breakdown in there.
Dang, dude.
And some might say I should cut you slack. But you worked so hard at unhappiness. Living too hard just couldn't kill you. So in the end, you had to do it yourself. Living too hard just couldn't kill you.
That's my favorite part of the whole song. I mean, he fucking said it with his chest.
Yeah.
And is then like, I mean, he even talks about that, kind of the idea of that, where everyone has those times when the night's so long, the dead end life just stares you down. Lean back under the microphone and turn your demons into walls of goddamn noise and sound. Like, you know, using like an escape, like music or art to like get out the shit that like a lot of people do. So yeah, it's that part of it where it's like, why couldn't you just fucking deal with it like the rest of us? Like that kind of anger where it's like, yeah. I don't know. I always think that song's really heavy, especially once you like connect what the subject matter is. I think it's a really good exploration of that side of that kind of issue.
I was gonna say I think it's one of my favorite songs on the album. Also, not only because the message, but I also just really enjoy the music too. Like I think the music fits really well.
Oh,
like,
it's so
each
good.
Part of the song. Also, it's just like it was just good listening from me as well. Whereas some of the songs on the album are a little slow for me, but this one was definitely right up my alley. I liked it a lot.
Nice. Well, how did you how did you feel about then the following song, which is also argued to be one of the better songs Isbell's ever written, especially this early in his career? Like holy shit. But with Decoration Day, the titular track of the
album. I know. I was gonna say, is Jamie gonna say it again?
The titular track.
Bro, it's a great word.
The guitar go crazy in this one. First off,
it does. The guitar,
yes.
The main riff, like the solo is great. The breakdown at the end of the song, but just the main riff that plays through the whole song is just hypnotic.
Yeah.
It's Decoration Day, and I have in mind to roll a stone on his grave.
Yeah,
so good.
I really like it. I really like it a lot.
Yeah, and that's done because so if you it's a descending bass line is what the top the low strings, you play the low E and then a low note on an A, and then you have the open A. So it's got that stair step, and you're just kind of like sitting there. The music is interesting enough to kind of keep you locked in to where you're like listening kind of, but you're right, it's kind of hypnotic. And then you can really, the music ties in, but then you can kind of focus on the narrative being strewn together as well. I think it's done really, really well. Like the guitar's good, but it's not too flashy. Like it doesn't take away from what's going on.
Yeah.
It's kind of like how Simple Man, it's the same riff through the entire song, but that allows you to really listen to the picture being painted.
Yeah.
You know? I think it's really good. Yeah, the guitar's good. And then the solos are really good as well. Excellent guitar work in there.
I'll send all the hill boys to hear. Decoration Day.
And
I think it's just so crazy that this is so early in his like professional songwriting. Like he wrote songs for, you know, a decade before this or whatever, let's say. Not that much. But he'd been writing songs for a year at this point, just not professionally. And then he like, I'm pretty sure if I remember right, he took this to the band as like, yeah, I don't know, maybe. And they were like, this is fucking going on the record. This is the name of the record.
Okay, this
like,
is the title
this
song.
This is a fucking hit. He came to him with like a few of his like notebooks or whatever. And he was like, yeah, here. And they were like, holy shit, dude. Like this is going on the record. And I mean, it's so good. Like this was one that I didn't know the song at all. I saw him live and I was like, that was a mind-blowing experience. Because it's, I mean, the guitar of it is so good. The solos are really good. And live, they really go crazy with the solos. Like, they really drag them shits out. But it's got all the hallmarks of his writing. Like, killer instrumentation. The storytelling is fucking awesome. The vocal delivery is really good in tandem with the guitar going on underneath it. Everything about it's great. It's a badass song about a family feud in the Deep South. When is that ever not cool? You know?
Even like even if it was just a song about like the violence and the hatred between the two families, it would still be great. But the fact that he weaves in like also the anger and hatred towards his own dad, who was like the perpetuator of the feud. Like it's at the beginning of the song when he says like it's Decoration Day and like he wants to roll a stone over his dad's grave. Like I actually didn't really understand that for a while, but it's like rolling the stone.
He's trying to
like
keep his
it's like keeping like his like locking his dad's memory away, like rolling the stone
exactly,
like in front of like
him in the tomb.
Exactly. And then it's explicit later when he says it's Decoration Day and I have a mind to go spit on his grave.
Yeah, it's the whole song, like the narrator's building and he's like, you can see the torn emotion between it where I have a mind to go roll a stone on his grave, like keep him locked away, but what would he say? Keeping me down, boy, won't keep you away. Like from the violence that's being perpetuated throughout like the family feud, which transcends not only like, this isn't just Alabama. I love the part where he says, it's Decoration Day and I've got a family in Mobile Bay, but they've never seen my daddy's grave. But that don't bother me. It ain't marked anyway. Like his dad died in an unmarked grave. Because I got dead brothers in Lauderdale South, and I got dead brothers in East Tennessee. My daddy got shot right in front of his house, had no one to fall on but me. Talking about like...
And I got a family in Mobile Bay, and they've never seen my daddy's grave. But that don't bother me. Anyway, 'cause I got dead brothers in Lauderdale South, and I got dead brothers in East Tennessee. My daddy got shot right in front of his house. He had no one to fall on but me. It's Decoration Day.
I've got dead relatives because of this shit spanning the Southeast. Like, I've kept my family away from it, but none of that matters because, like, when my dad got gunned down, it's me who, like, the family crown fell to. Yeah. So I love this song so much. Like, the tide route, the roots to the south that he can't get away from. The narrator's having this confliction with his dad and the violence, but he's still saying, like, you know, I'll still, like, fuck up whoever from the other family because I have this like past of shit. I love it. Yeah, but those lines talking about especially when he says when my daddy got shot right in front of his house, he had no one to fall on but me, and then that the solo right after there, I love that part. So fucking good. The slide's immaculate. I love his style so fucking much. But yeah, so that's always been a favorite song of mine off this album, and just by him in general. Another reason why I wanted to choose it for this week.
Did you have any big stuff you wanted to say, Jordan, or did you?
No,
No.
not any more things. It was also a little bit of a rushed week, so I had even less than usual. So
Yeah, for sure.
It was.
It just seemed like
was a brief
I thought it sounded like you liked this song a fair amount, like some of the other ones too. So I just wanted to check it.
no, yeah, I did.
Look at Nick stepping in to be a good host when I'm steamrolling over here.
No, you're good.
Jamie's in his album mode.
Yeah, see
You know?
But does that have liquid in it? Okay, good. Oh,
Two of them don't. One of them does.
I thought the one that spilled might have just had liquid in it, but I'm glad it didn't. But yeah, doesn't that leave just one more song, or was that?
Yep, final song.
Yeah, Loaded Gun in the Closet. So I think it's always been an interesting end to the album. I think a great end would be Decoration Day. I'm not mad about that this song ends it, but it kind of leaves it on a weird note because
Yeah,
it's a very nebulous song. Like, what's she doing with the gun that's in the closet? Why does he end with that line? What does it mean? I don't know.
Like he kept it there for her.
It's kind of creepy.
Like you mean?
Is she keeping it there for her if she needs it? Is she keeping it there to shoot her husband, who she doesn't really like but also doesn't really hate? Is she using it on herself? I don't know. It's a very confusing ending lines.
I found
that has never been explained.
I found a very odd amount of peace with this song. Like I just really enjoyed it, and like
you're like the woman in the song.
I am like the simplicity of the situation. Like they have this ritualistic way to behave that just keeps them just happy enough to like live their own life,
to not go crazy.
And I really like it's like the second to last verse. Where like he's talking about like she could have all this stuff, and all these people like could say that like she should have more pride in herself. Explicitly what it says is most women today would say she was a disgrace. Most men would say she wasn't much to look at, and they'd all say that she'd be a lot better off if she cared a little bit more about what they all think. She could have a life of her own if she had a little pride, some silicone implants, and another man on the side.
Most women today would say she was a disgrace. Most men would say she wasn't much to look at. And they'd all say she'd be a lot better off if she cared a little bit more about what they all think. She could have a life of her own if she had a little pride. Some silicone implants and another man on the side.
Like it's just talking about like she could have all this stuff, but she's happy enough cooking dinner and hanging around the house and just listening to her husband cuss about his day. and it's funny because like I don't think that sounds like a very fulfilling life, but at the same time it's interesting how peaceful it all sounds, because I feel like I know like I've like might have distant relatives that I've met a few times that maybe live similar lives like this, or like maybe like great relatives.
I'm saying right now 100%, if Vic got a job where she was making like $200,000 a year and she enjoyed what she was doing, I could so easily be a house husband.
Me too.
Are you kidding me?
I would turn into the best chef imaginable.
I'd be cooking every meal. I'd be packing her lunch.
Yes, sir.
I'd be fucking. Me and the dogs are just chilling all day.
Yes,
I'm playing
sir.
video games.
I'd be running errands.
All this coding, engineering shit. I'll just do fucked up personal projects. Like I just fuck around and do shit like that to get that fulfilling side.
True.
I'll watch TED Talks. I'll take master classes.
Yes, sir.
Like, dude, I could so easily do this kind of shit. Mm-hmm. I think.
Yeah. But yeah,
because I'll find personal work, you know, I just won't get paid for it. But you know, if we were in a position like that, I could easily do it. I think
the idea of simplicity and calmness with the absence of like of
no
outlier variables. Yeah, that's like one of my. I actually don't even love there's a Radiohead song called No Surprises, and I don't love their version, but there's a version of it by a girl named Madison Cunningham that I really love, and it's all about like the chorus is just no alarms and no surprises, and that's like repeated, and he's talking about like how he basically has a very pessimistic overall worldview in the song, and like how he wishes he could just like live on a farm and chill out. And I'm like, I feel you, dog.
Dog,
every time I get on Twitter, I regret
it. Every time I see a Jeep Wrangler, I'm like, bro, it'd be so nice to just be cruising around the Australian outback, not a care in the world, just driving that shit.
Yep. Watching the tumbleweeds roll
just
by.
whipping it. You know, just doing that and being like, c'est la vie, bro. This is not even such as life. This is life. You know,
my wife rich doesn't matter anymore. Or if you like, both,
like I could do that so easily.
Or if you both get just like super rich, where you guys can like retire by like 30, like that'd be like the best thing. You know, you like make all your.
I could do that so easily, bro.
And like obviously, you probably still making money. Like rich people are making money without even working, obviously, because they just hire a bunch of other people.
Right,
to
you invest,
make money, yeah, or like a business. But if you could just like, bruh, just not work until you can't move your body anymore, that would be.
That literally would be great. I would be ripped. I'd be hitting the gym like 5 days a week. I'd be fucking, dude. As it is on like Saturdays, because she still works on Saturdays and I don't. That like none of y'all get online for like Warzone or whatever, and I'm just like, all right, I'll just fucking clean the kitchen, do the laundry, you know. Like I could do that so easy, bro. It's crazy.
I feel you. I've never minded little routine tasks that take up my brain space. I can just listen to a podcast or music, do something with my hands.
Exactly.
I hate doing the dishes. That's the only thing. It's gross to me. That's the only routine thing.
Oh, see, my only thing is like, I do it with water that's so hot my hands dry out.
I don't like that. Yeah.
And then I mean, but you know, it's all good.
Like ever since
it's worth it.
Ever since I'm out of Houston and I have a dishwasher again, dishes are like so easy. I like don't care at all.
Oh yeah.
I just get done cooking and I'm like, oh, I just have to wash 2 pans and like maybe a knife that I can't put in the dishwasher. Cool.
Yeah.
Exactly, but then plates, everything. Boop, 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 boop.
Yep.
See, I have this bad habit of like still washing them because I'm scared like the food's gonna get like caught down at the bottom somewhere. Like,
but have you ever cleaned a dish and then it's like there's still shit on it?
Yeah, at my house.
Because if not, then that's it. Oh.
See, at my house, I feel like our dishwasher isn't as good, so like it'll leave like.
Well, you have to rinse.
I know,
for sure.
I know.
You have to rinse. But you know, there's no need to bust out a sponge or anything. You just get the large shit off, and then you let the dishwasher pod do the work. You know.
You're right.
But yeah, so that sums up my thoughts on the album.
I'm all good.
We ended it on the dishwashing note, but
yes, sir.
Bro, I could be a house husband so.
Benny boy. Oh my goodness.
Oh shit. Oh, sorry, audio listener. You're missing out. Little Bentley the muscular dog who was referenced last week actually. Oh shit, look at his little teeth. Bruh, so ferocious. All right. So ratings, me, Nick, and then Jordan, because Jordan picks our final. Well, yeah, we'll say it. We'll announce why next week, but it'll be our final album of the year for next week's episode. I think for me, I think it's a 9 out of 10.
I got you.
It's solid. There are a few parts where it's like I could do without it, but for the most part, it's the highs are very high on this one for sure.
I agree.
So I think a 9 out of 10 is in order.
I'll give it an 8.5 because I agree. The highs are very high, and the lowest points still aren't that low.
Exactly right. They're not that low. You know, it's not a 10 for me, but you know, yeah, I get that. Jordan, what are you gonna give it?
I'm gonna give it 4.5.
Ooh, okay. Let's go.
We'll take that.
I'm gonna-
we gotta.
Jordan, I'm gonna personally thank you for dealing with our picks these past couple weeks. All right,
It's
They've,
okay. It's okay.
they've not been your
again-
style, but
No, it's okay. I listened to it with Audrey too in the car today when we were running around doing stuff. It wasn't like
How did she like it?
I couldn't tell. I don't think she loved it either. But
I was just saying, I
like,
don't
again,
know her music taste at all, so I have no
there were
idea.
still some like there's still like one or two songs that I wouldn't like mind listening to again. You know, like can't even remember the names of it, but like
Audrey's in the car like, hell no, I ain't happy.
like they like do it yourself and Decoration Day. Like I don't know, like a couple of those I could see myself like listening to, and it wasn't like it was honestly besides some music that I feel like represents Southern music a little bit more than like some of the other ones we've listened to. That like Nick's picks are usually a little bit slower and like which is okay, but I think this was a little bit more towards like music I just hear like, you know, not walking around like the South, but like you know what I mean.
And that's
like,
that's kind of the truckers thing. They're a little more. They still have like the Southern ties, but they're also just a bunch of angry Alabama rednecks who can really play the hell out of an electric guitar.
exactly.
That's how it comes down to. So that's why I said this was testing the waters of Southern rock. There will be more on the horizon. We'll see how that goes.
Say a prayer.
But yeah, so I get what you mean.
I got you.
But not for me.
But
Now for the moment we've been waiting for.
So that gives it an average of 7.33, tied at 25th with Could Not Be More Different, How to Be a Human Being by the Glass Animals.
Haha, two Jamie.
Right below 19 by Adele.
Three
And right
Jamie
above Turn Blue, Women in
Four,
Music,
oh.
and Quietly Blowing It, which are all tied for 27.
picks. Quietly blowing. Call back.
So
We gotta
yeah, that's
speed
where
run
that
the rest
falls.
of this app.
Oh
We've been
yeah.
recording way too long.
I don't know why you guys care. I'm the one who has to edit this shit.
For the listener.
But yeah, so Jordan, what's
Yeah,
next
that's
week's
what I-
episode? Dude, if the listeners tuned in this long, they're locked in. All right,
That's
I'm
true.
not worried
That's
about
true.
it. So Jordan, what are we going to be listening to next?
Sorry,
week?
David.
I'm doing the unironic meme pick and going with the Daughtry album this
Yes.
week.
Yes.
Oh fuck yeah!
It's a meme pick, but I unironically like it. Okay.
Is it self-titled? Is
Yeah.
that
It's just Daughtry.
okay? Gotcha.
It should be like this like greenish front cover. I think he's sitting on like a bench or something.
I'm familiar with the look of it. I just wasn't sure if it was self-titled or not. If it's the
Okay,
one
okay.
thing. Okay, awesome.
This is kind of out of my comfort zone, Stu, but this definitely has a nostalgic feeling where I'm pretty sure I can hold my own in this conversation.
See,
all right?
I'm ready because this is Daughtry is a band
funny.
and I guess person who I've always never really listened to.
You're gonna get that like 2000.
Did you know-
Oh god.
He's from North Carolina,
Is he?
Uh-huh.
I actually didn't know that.
McLeansville.
That's probably why I heard him so much growing up, or like why so many people liked him too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's why he's always been like repped a little bit in our.
It's in
cultures.
fucking Guilford County. That's so close to where we grew
Yeah,
up.
That's hilarious.
Someone my mom worked with said they saw him like swimming at the Greensboro Aquatic Center like with his family one time, just like hanging out.
That's fucking crazy. I had no
one of
idea.
one of our childhood friends, that Jamie and I know, has a picture with him from when they were like 10 years old. I'll tell you off pod, Jamie, who it was.
Yo,
Yeah, they, like,
what?
ran into
Yeah,
him, like, at a
please do.
Starbucks.
Holy
Yeah.
shit! What the fuck? Of course, he ran into him at a Starbucks. But yeah, okay, awesome. I'm excited. I had no idea he was from that close to like where we grew up.
Yeah, man.
That's crazy.
What a guy.
Well, I guess it's a short week, so my recent listings are very short. It's just been other drive-by truckers, Allman Brothers, and some Leonard Skinner. Outside of like I mentioned before, just listening to at work. All I've been listening to is my previous year top 100s.
Yeah. I'm gonna go real quick. I also have only been listening to my 2021 top 100 songs because they're all bangers. They're all bangers.
Exactly.
Just
I tweeted
bangers.
about that. I think.
Did any of
It's a self-curated list of bangers.
Did any of our podcast picks, not your podcast picks, seep into like the 90 through 100 numbers in your top 100 playlist, Jordan? I'm just curious. I didn't know if
podcasts.
Like any of Jamie or I's picks. No, okay.
Actually, I don't think so. I'll look a little bit.
Not even that song by Haim that you liked a lot?
Los Angeles?
I don't think so. I'll look again, but
Los Angeles.
I was just curious.
I gotta listen to that album again, man.
Jordan, if you wanna go to a Haim show with me, they announced today they're coming to Wilmington.
I will look at the date and then
April 22nd. It's a Sunday night.
Okay, I honestly pretty down. Let me just look at a couple other stuff. Also, I think I like rap too much for anything to have infiltrated this, but
I was just curious.
No, never mind.
Not even any Frank?
Chanel.
Oh, of course.
But nothing from Pierre
My guy, pretty like.
And he's got fight stories to tell.
God, my waveform just peaked.
But I also a lot of top 100 playlist. Also listen to some Tyler.
It's that time of year, bro.
Yeah. Some Tyler Childers today at work. Some Turnpike Troubadours since they announced they're like kind of getting back together. And I recently got really into Bahamas dropped one Christmas song this year, and it's a like remake of a Neil Young song. And the Neil Young song is called Unknown Legend, and a lot of people know it.
Oh, I actually know this.
Yeah. It's like the Desert Highway song, and the Bahamas song is called Christmas Highway, and he redoes a lot of the lyrics, and he like.
No, the Desert Highway song is Hotel California.
Also true.
They literally say on a dark desert highway.
Neil Young says, somewhere on a desert highway, she rides a Harley Davidson. Afi Yurvanen of Bahamas fame says somewhere
he doesn't know what a desert
somewhere
is.
on a Christmas highway, he rides a big red sleigh. You know, there's some stuff going on. It's a vibe, dude. I enjoy it. I gotta hear this shit. But I listened to Neil Young's Harvest Moon album like front to back like 3 or 4 times like the past like 5 days. I love it, man.
On this harvest.
Great song, great album.
Oh, fucking banger. Jordan would detest that album.
I agree.
But it's a great
and that's why like
it is a
I
great
thought
album.
about it. I was like, I can't pick this for like the next 5 picks because I've tortured him too much. But I do love it. I'm kind of. It's like a classic.
It's so
semi-chill
good.
album,
yes.
And those are some of my favorite albums. Like Blue by Joni Mitchell, also a phenomenal album. But don't get me started. We're at the end of the podcast. Okay, we're done.
I'm
done.
The pod for today.
So then, with that rundown, we just wanted to say thanks for listening this week, and remember to tune in next week where we're going to be taking a look at Daughtry by Daughtry. Be sure to listen to it as much as you want so that you can kind of mentally formulate your own thoughts and quote unquote join in the discussion with us while we talk about it. If you want, you can also actually join in the discussion with us by throwing a comment about your thoughts on this week's episode or us on YouTube or Instagram. Or if you want, you can also tweet them at us. We're on Twitter at ListUpPodcast and Instagram at ListenUpPod. And those accounts, as well as all of our personal handles, are going to be in the description of wherever you found this episode. Make sure to give one or both of them a follow so that you can see any updates or announcements we make that pertain to the show, because that's where we make them. So if you don't see them, you'll miss out. We also ask if you enjoyed this episode and you feel like we've earned it, if you wanted to throw a rating or review our way on your respective podcast platform, that helps us out and helps us to kind of grow this audience. Other than that, for now, we'll catch you next week, and remember to listen up.